You're listening to Brandon Sports Talk, interviewing professional athletes and Paralympians and Olympians. And now for your professional athlete interview and your host, Brandon P.
Are you? Oh, good.
Welcome back to Brandon Sports Talk. In today's episode, I have the privilege to interview the Australia softball Olympian Ellen Roberts. How are you doing today?
I'm good. Thank you, Brandon. Thank you for having me on here.
Thank you. Can you talk about how you knew that you wanted to get started in playing professional softball?
Yes, I remember back when I was 13 years old, we had five Canadian softball players come to Australia to play in our summer ball league. And they were talking about US college ball and that people play professionally softball as for their living. And I remember at that time thinking that playing professionally would be amazing. And I remember my dad saying to me, can you imagine that you go to the softball field every day and put your cleats on and that's your job and that's what you do every day for work? And I remember at that time just being like, so far out of my reach, but how amazing that would be. But I remembered the Canadian girls talking about US college ball, and from that point I wanted to play in the US college ball league and then also for Team Australia. And then as I grew up and worked towards those goals, I was always looking to better myself and improve my skills to reach the Australian national team and to go to college. And so once I got to college, I did everything I could to improve and learn with that amazing opportunity, and then got selected in the Australian national team. And then with that, I wanted to continue to better myself. So I was looking to continue playing overseas in the best leagues possible. And then that's when my professional career started. I started playing in the European leagues and then worked my way up to playing in Japan. And because of my goal of playing for Team Australia at the Olympics, I was able to then reach playing professionally as well, which was a dream beyond any of my dreams. Because of my Olympic dream, I was able to then earn a living playing the sport I love, which is just a blessing and truly the coolest thing ever.
What was that experience like going to college and playing collegiate softball at Memphis?
When I was 18 years old, just finishing up high school, they had helped me find a way into a college team. And at that time, I didn't really know much about US college ball, Division One, or anything like that. But I got the opportunity to play at the University of Memphis. It was a full ride, which was a huge gift and blessing to me. And I remember just when I first arrived being overwhelmed by the amount of facilities and the intensity of every day at school and playing softball every day and training. And I remember just thinking, wow, this is incredible, and I'm just going to soak it all up. So from my freshman year, I didn't play very much, but I remember just loving being amongst it and in that environment. And then as I progressed into being a sophomore, I got a lot more time on the field and just did everything I could to play for Memphis and help them win and achieve as much as I could. And I loved that. Memphis was a fun city to be in an amazing university. And I'm proud to be a Memphian and Australian. But I loved that experience playing for Memphis, and Coach Winnie Thies, who gave me the opportunity to play for her my freshman year. She gave me an opportunity that honestly changed my life. And I think playing for the University of Memphis really shaped my career and opened many doors for me moving forward in my softball.
What was that experience like for you to being an international student and going to Memphis and playing for softball for Memphis and having your family see you on TV?
I was proud to be Memphis's first international player, and I felt privileged to be a part of that team and amongst my American teammates. And at that time, softball wasn't televised like it is now. So I think it was live streamed. So my dad, I remember him learning how to log onto the computer and figuring out how to get onto the live stream. And I remember just feeling connected every time we got to play and I knew they were watching. It was, I guess, just unimaginable. Wow, I'm really here. This is really happening. And it just felt very, very special to be able to do that. And for 4 years and have that opportunity to do that for that amount of time was just amazing. And I learned so much from it.
While in college, what were some of your biggest accomplishments as a softball player?
I worked really, really hard. Like I said, I didn't play much my freshman year, but in the last 3 years I was there, managed to break this 25 school records for the University of Memphis. and that included the most wins, the most strikeouts, I think the most innings pitched for the school. But yeah, they're not really things that I like aimed for or thought about while I was playing. I just did everything I could to try and help our team win. I won a few Pitcher of the Week for our conference. My senior year, I got all 13 for the Coach Select awards at the end of the year. But I think the biggest achievement for me was just being a part of that experience and learning all the things I did and coming out of it, the player I was, so different to the player that I went in there as and person.
As a softball player after leaving college, what was that experience like going to the Czech Republic and getting to play professional softball in the Czech Republic?
Playing in the Czech Republic was a different experience again. That actually happened because I was playing in Italy. The 2 years I got to play in Czech, I was playing in Italy. And so the Italian league braked for the summer. So like I think July and August, that's when the international tournaments were happening and they had their European Cups. And because I was already in Europe, the Czech teams were looking for pitchers. So we were on break and I got offered to play for these Czech teams. Once in Prague or near Prague, and once in Ostrava, which is on the other side of the Czech Republic. And that was just so cool. I remember one of my teammates coming with me and we played the tournament, and I really enjoyed getting to meet some new teammates who were Czech girls and learning a little bit of the language for the week that I was there and seeing a bit of the countryside and a different culture. And the thing I probably liked most about playing for those Czech teams, even though I wasn't there for very long, they were super welcoming. It was so much fun, and they were really gritty and competitive. And that's like one of my favorite things about playing softball is people that compete and love it as much as me. And those Czech girls definitely did. And it was a lot of fun to get that opportunity.
What was that experience like for you getting to play professional softball in the US for the Chicago Bandits?
That was a fantastic opportunity as well. That was probably my first experience of like top level professional softball. Before that, I had played in Europe, but being in the US and playing for Chicago Bandits organization was a eye-opening experience. And the amount of people that came to watch our games and being around some of the best American softball players at that time was incredible, to be in the same dugout as them and also playing against them. I learned a lot. I was definitely pushed to compete and be better. I remember it was tough. It was challenging. Every time I got an opportunity to go out there, I was always looking for new ways to be successful because the players I was playing against were so good. But I loved playing for Chicago Bandits. The organization were great people and really looked after us. And also being in that city, seeing a new part of the world again was so fun.
Of course, being in the Chicago Bandits city and playing, what was that experience like playing in the US versus your time playing overseas?
I think the fan base with Chicago Bandits in 2017 was probably the biggest difference. There was a lot of people that came to our games, and the sport was really publicized, I guess, and like pushed towards the fans. And like it was so interactive with music and games in between innings, and there was people that would line up for our autographs after the game. We would sign autographs for over an hour, and from where I come from in Australia, that never happened. Like we would be lucky at times to have 10 people at our game. So the fact that we were signing all these people's autograph that I didn't even think they knew who I was or who some of my teammates were, but I just felt honored that people wanted to meet us, and we had a constant following. There was people that would continue to come to our games and say hello, and they really became like a family for the summer. And just like I felt so much support and love for the sport and for what we were doing. But yeah, it was exciting to see so many youth and just people in general come to the game and really want to be involved and appreciate what we were doing.
After Chicago Bandits, what was that experience like going to the New South Wales and getting to compete for 10 national championships?
Playing for New South Wales is my home state in Australia. So that's probably the biggest honor you can have before playing for your country. So you play locally and if you're good enough, you get selected to play for your state. And as a New South Welshman, playing for New South Wales is a huge honour, and there's no other feeling like it. There's a special feeling playing for New South Wales and wearing our Waratah, our state flora emblem on our chest, is super special. And every win that you get with your state is a huge accomplishment. And I'm very, very proud to have been a part of 10 of them. But yeah, I think because we're playing, a lot of the time we played in Sydney, but we play in our country, and I'm playing alongside other Aussies and other New South girls, that it just feels special, and you're playing for something that you all buy in and love, which is your home state. So yeah, that it's super special to play for New South Wales anytime you get the opportunity.
How has that been like, obviously getting to play with other people from Aussie versus throughout your career, you've been to US, you've been overseas playing with other teammates?
Yeah, I've played with many different types of people from all across the world. And I think for me, as an Australian playing with Australians, it doesn't get any better. Like playing with your people, I think every country has the thing that they're good at. And the thing that I love about us Aussies is we have a grit and this Aussie spirit, and that's the name of our national team. But we truly do have this spirit that we fight and we compete like there's no other feeling in the world. Once you get together with your girls, with your Aussie girls, and you put on that green and gold, it's just the best feeling to go out there and just give it all we've got, despite who we're playing against. We know we're going to give it our 100%, and we're playing for something special, which is our country, which we're all so proud to represent.
Of course, for you, what was that feeling like getting to make that national team for Australia and getting to represent the country of Australia?
Any time that I've gotten to wear the green and gold and play for Australia is a dream come true, and it continues to be a dream come true every time I get to do it. I remember the first time I got selected to play for Australia, and it was just like breathtaking. I was in college and I got a call on my mobile at 5 a.m. and it was someone from Softball Australia letting me know that I was selected to represent Australia at the World Championship. But it's just an incredible experience. And as an Aussie, we don't have professional softball. We play club ball, and you work your way up through state and to the national team. So for an Australian, playing for Team Australia is the best. And to be a part of that every time and represent the jersey and all the people that have come before who've also played for Australia, and to continue that tradition and hopefully inspire the next generation is something truly special, and it just doesn't get any better than that.
What was that feeling like when you did get that call when you were in college to make that team for the first time?
Oh, I couldn't believe it. I remember I was 21, just 22, and I had competed for New South Wales at the Open Women's as a rookie. So I remember going into that tournament just thinking I'm going to give my best. I had just come back from playing college softball, I think it was my senior year, and I just was there to compete and do my best and have fun. And I wasn't expecting or aiming to play Australia, but I remember thinking how amazing it would be if I got that opportunity. And because of my results and how I played, I got selected, and I just remember thinking, wow, like it was surreal, and I was so honored to be a part of it, and being a young one, being a rookie, and then playing with a couple Olympians that were on the team at that time, and some girls who had been there for a long time, was just like a dream come true to be a part of it and wear a jersey that I had admired and wanted to wear for so long, and now I was going to get the opportunity to do that.
What was that feeling like for you to get to put on that Australia jersey for the first time?
The best feeling ever. It's something I had aimed for back when I was a kid. I wanted to wear that green and gold jersey since forever. That was the ultimate goal for me. And so to be able to do that and then continue to do that was just like a dream come true, and the best feeling ever. It just feels so special. And yeah, it's hard to put into words, like being able to wear the green and gold jersey with Australia across the front and representing all the people who have come before, and the people who support you, and my community, my local clubs. Is just amazing.
As a kid, what was that experience like for you going to that Sydney 2000 Olympics and now being an Olympian, what was that experience like getting to experience that for yourself as an Olympian?
Wow. I remember in 2000, my mum was working a office job, and her company had tickets to go to the Sydney opening ceremony, and she won 2 tickets to go to the Sydney opening ceremony. And I remember her coming home with them, and my dad turned to me right away and said, "You need to go. You need to take my ticket, and you need to go with your mum to the opening ceremony." And at that time, I was playing t-ball on a Saturday with my friends, and it was fun. I love t-ball, softball. Like, it was so much fun. It was a highlight of my week every Saturday. And I was 8 years old. We went to the opening ceremony, and I remember it just when we walked into that arena and then seeing all the athletes come in and the celebration of the best sports in the world on the world's biggest stage. I remember thinking, oh my gosh, I have to be a part of this. And I remember from that day telling my mum on the way home, I was like, "Mum, I'm going to the Olympics." And I came home to my dad, and I thanked him. I said, "Dad, I'm going to go to the Olympics and play t-ball." And he said, "Ellen, t-ball's not in the Olympics." And I was like, "Well, what is then?" And he was like, "Well, softball is in the Olympics." And it was back in 2000. I said, "Well, then it's going to have to be softball then, because I have to be a part of this." And so from that day forward, like, it was the ultimate dream to play for Australia at the Olympics in softball. And then being able to do it, like, everything that I had to train for and go through and overcome and work hard for between 2000 and then finally 2021 was just like, it was such a ride, all the ups and downs, and then being selected and then being in the Tokyo Village. It was incredible. Like, it's really hard to explain, but it was like the ultimate dream had come true. And I just felt this sense of, like, I don't know, just pure happiness and pure joy to be there. And, like, at times it didn't even feel real. I'm like, I'm actually at the Olympics in the uniform, going to the game, and I'm doing it. And yeah, it was just like the best feeling ever. And honestly, like, the highlight of my career up until that point. And I remember thinking, now that I'm here, like, how amazing this is. And now I want to continue to keep building and striving to be better. But it was the ultimate dream come true, that's for sure.
In 2014, what was that experience like going to the World Championship and getting to compete in the Netherlands?
That was my rookie year, and that was the time that I was just stoked to be a part of it all. And I had played Junior Worlds, but I hadn't played a Open Women's World Championship. So it was a really eye-opening experience to be a part of that and see all the different countries in the world, and being a young one competing against the older girls. And I remember just being so intrigued with how everything worked and how my teammates played on the world stage, because I'd seen them play locally within Australia, but I wanted to learn and see how it happened on the world's biggest stage for softball. So I remember that being a fantastic experience. I got a couple opportunities, and I was happy with the job that I did, how I performed, and just being a part of that whole experience and following and learning from my teammates was amazing. And we won bronze that world championship. So I think that's the best placing we've had since I've been in the national program. So that's truly special to have a bronze medal from that world. And we're going to keep working hard to get back a medal and do even better.
What has that experience been like for you being a professional softball player and getting to travel around the world playing the sport that you love?
It's a dream come true again. Like, playing softball and traveling and seeing the world is amazing. It does have its challenges. It is busy. You do make sacrifices, but it's so worth it. The things that I learn and continue to learn playing softball on the field, I think that's one of my favorite things about playing softball. I love learning and being challenged, and there's never like a complete with softball or with pitching. There's always something new to learn and something to get better at, as well as all the different people and places I've gotten to see, and being challenged off the field too. With, like, right now I'm in Japan, and I have to communicate with people in Japanese and find what works with our communication, or how to be successful together when we're two totally different cultures. But I love it so much, and I think because of the opportunity I've had to travel the world and play in over 10 different countries, it's bettered me as a player, but it's truly shaped me as a person. Leaving home at just 18 years old to go to the US and play college ball and continue playing internationally has really helped me become a better player and a better person. And I don't think I would have half the skills or knowledge about softball or life if I didn't do what I do. And I'm truly grateful.
How was that feeling like for you to get that email that you made the Olympic team to go to Tokyo to represent your country of Australia?
Oh, wow. We actually didn't get an email. So how it worked was Softball Australia decided that they were going to select the team 2 weeks before the team went to the Tokyo Village. So we left for Japan about 6 weeks before the Olympics, or 8 weeks before the Olympics. And we trained as a squad of 23 players in a city near Tokyo, in Oda City. And we trained for 4 weeks, not knowing who was on the team. So we trained really hard. And then once the day came, it was June 29th, I remember. We all sat in the dining room, and one by one, alphabetical order, they brought us into a meeting room individually and told us whether we made the team or not. So we sat down in that room. And the funny thing about my experience with that is we had done that a few years before, going into the Olympic qualifier in China. And I missed out on that team. So I had done that experience before. I'd been pulled into the meeting room, sat down and told that I wasn't a part of the team. And I was heartbroken. It was one of the toughest times of my life, my softball life. And this time I got pulled into that room, and the news was different. I was told that I made it. And I remember not being able to even speak. Walking into the room, the coach asked me how I am, like, how are you? And I couldn't even open my mouth. So I just like sat there, which is not me because I'm quite chatty, but I remember just feeling like so overwhelmed by it all. And then being told that, Ellen, you're going to the Olympic Games, I was just like overwhelmed with happiness and relief, and just like the best news ever. It's really hard to explain the feeling, like, and put it into words, but it was just like the best feeling. My entire life I had worked towards this one goal, and here I am being told that I'm getting to do it, and it was just the best thing ever.
Of course, when you got to Tokyo, what was that feeling like, getting to step onto that pitcher's mound for the first time at the Olympics?
It was an incredible experience. I remember feeling excited every time we got to go to the field. I was an exciting experience, and I didn't play the first game we played against Japan, but I warmed up and was in relief. And so the first time I got to step onto the field as a player in the game was our second game against Italy. And I remember being excited, but I came into the game right at the last inning. So I had a job to do, and I just remember feeling poised and strong and so focused. And I came on and I knew I had a job to do, and I just blocked out everything else. Like, it was not like, oh my gosh, I'm at the Olympics. It was just like, okay, I'm going into the game. I have the ball. I just doing what I always do and what I've trained to do. And that's all I focused on. So I sort of narrowed my focus down and was so in the moment. And then once those moments on the field were finished, I was back to being like, this is so cool. I'm at the Olympics and doing the thing I've always wanted to do.
What were some of your game day routines and rituals like at the Olympics?
At the Olympics, I remember we had an apartment of like 3 or 4 or 5 girls in our room, and the village was so big. So it wasn't like just get up and have a quick breakfast in your room, but we had to walk to the dining hall. So in the mornings we'd get up, go walk to the dining hall, come back, and I would listen to music, do my hair and makeup as I always do, and then get on the bus. And that's part of my game day routine, and it still is now. Listening to music and doing my hair and makeup is a part of how I physically and mentally get ready for the day.
What is that experience like getting to play different countries like US, Canada, and Japan?
Uh, it's it's a good experience in the way that every country plays the game differently, and on the Olympic stage, everyone's there to win and everyone's there to be at their best, and I love that. So we obviously study every team, find work to figure out how they play the game, what their strategies are, and do our best to combat. So I think the thing I love most about playing the top countries in the world is that they always bring their best and they play the game differently. So it challenges us to also step up and play the game against them to win.
While at the Olympics, did you have that mama I made it moment?
The what moment?
The mama I made it moment.
Oh, um, possibly. I don't know. I was just so focused that like I'm a very focused person when it comes to playing, and so like I tried to stay like focused on the moment, but I still like maybe more so after the fact I had the mum I just did that moment, and like even now sometimes like day to day I like will be doing something and I'm like, oh my gosh, I went to the Olympics. That's so cool. I'm like, and when I'm talking to my baby, like, hey, mom, do you remember I went to the Olympics? How cool is that? Like, I'm an Olympian. And like, I sort of have those moments more after the fact than it was in the moment because I was just so focused on doing my job and being there to compete and do my best for my country.
Coming back home, what was that experience like getting to receive your Olympic rings and adding OLY behind your last name?
um Surreal, so surreal. I didn't come home after the Olympics until December because I played professionally in Japan. So once the Olympics were over, I went from the village right back to my team in Gifu, Japan, where we were having our summer camp. So I went straight back to practice with the girls, which was like going home to my family away from home anyway, and they were excited to see me and hear all about the Olympic experience. And then once I got to go home to Australia and I sat down, it was still like the end of COVID, so things were still a little bit quiet. Like there wasn't a big celebration or festival or anything back home, but I just remember coming home and sitting in our living room with my mum and dad and unpacking my suitcases and showing them everything and just being like, wow, like all of us were just like, wow, this is so cool. And all the Olympic gear we got. And I had a story behind everything that I unpacked out of my suitcase. And yeah, an incredible experience, incredible feeling. And to have OLY behind my name, I'm so proud and proud that I get to have that behind my name for the rest of my life.
What does that mean to you to be an Olympian and represent Australia softball?
I'm proud to be an Olympian and to represent Australia because I want to continue building our sport and promoting our sport on the world stage for the next generation to come. Now that I've reached my goal and have become an Olympian and played for Australia at the Olympics, the things that softball has given me through that experience and playing professionally are like beyond anything else. And I only wish that I hope like others can do the same, if not better. And softball in Australia is not a big sport. We don't have any very much government funding, and it's not a very well-known sport. It's not popular, but the opportunities softball has given me as a player and a person are like unrepayable. So like, I just want to, I guess, promote the sport and how fantastic softball is and the opportunities it can give young women and men on the international stage. So I just want to keep promoting the sport and hopefully inspiring girls to reach for their goals and play for Australia and get opportunities overseas to continue to play and also grow our sport in Australia. I want softball to be well loved and become popular and everyone to play softball because softball is a sport that caters to all types of people. You don't have to be tall, you don't have to be short, you don't have to be fast, you don't have to be slow. Like you can literally be any type of person, and the sport is so welcoming to all types of people. And I just feel like there's times to compete and to try your hardest and give your full amount of energy. But then there's also time where you get to come off the field and have a quick chat and a slice of watermelon with your friends before you go out and compete again. And I just think it's the most fun sport in the world. And if others can get the opportunity to do that, that would be my dream come true now, is to just get more people, more Aussies out there, and more people, more girls around the world out there playing softball and bettering themselves as athletes and people.
What has it been like, obviously, getting to play with the USS Pride and having players that are Olympians also be on that team too?
I love playing with USSSA Pride. Being part of that huge organization, and it's a professional team beyond all others, is a complete honor. I'm so honored to be a part of it and to finish my second year playing for them, and playing alongside some of the people I played against at the Olympics is amazing. And getting to know those girls in the same dugout rather than across the field has been so much fun, and are now some of my greatest friends. I love playing alongside those other girls, and even the girls that aren't Olympians on the team but are professional softballers and at the top of our game. Just listening, I think one of my favorite parts is listening to how everybody talks about the game in the dugout, and like helping each other and asking each other questions. Hey, how would you do this? Or what did you think about when I did that? Or, just hearing everyone talk about the game on the field and in the dugout is just so much fun. And sharing the passion for our sport is one of my favorite things about the summer. Like, I'm playing alongside people that love the sport as much as I do and are there to compete and win as much as I am. And we have fun doing it. Like, I think that's why we all get along, because we share this thing in common. And I'm playing alongside the best in the world and against the best in the world. And to me, it doesn't get any better.
What is that like, obviously, getting to meet your fans and having them ask for your autographs and photos with you?
I'm so honored to have that opportunity. And when people come up and ask for our autographs, or in the American League, when we're with Pride, we get hundreds and excuse me, thousands of people coming to our game, and then them waiting the whole game until afterwards to line up and get our autographs is like amazing. And like, where I come from, that doesn't happen. We don't have the fan base or support. So I make sure that I always stay and sign as many autographs as I can and talk to as many people as I can, because I love that they're so excited to watch us play, and it may be inspired to play professionally as well one day. And so I just feel honored to have the opportunity to sign something for them and meet so many young girls who love the sport and are excited about it. And they're just there for the entire game all the time and like love watching us play. And yeah, I love the passion that the fan base has over there.
What is that experience like in getting to play with some of your teammates like Danielle Stewart and Gabriella Plain?
Oh, so good. Playing alongside the best in the world is so much fun. And I think at the top level, like those two girls, everyone plays the game differently, and just learning from your teammates and watching how others are successful and sharing ideas is one of my favorite things. And just learning from one another and then competing with one another towards the same goal of winning is so much fun.
Who are some of the players in softball that you look up to?
Oh, I guess now the people I look up to are my teammates. Like, I play alongside the USSSA Pride girls, and I play alongside Ogaki Minamo, my Japanese professional team, and also my Australian national team. All my teammates, I think, are so inspiring, and everybody brings something different. And I just love competing alongside them and learning from them. I'm always looking to better myself as a player and person. And so I think if I'm alongside them, I have the best resources next to me in the dugout. So if I can use that and see what works for others and try it out myself, yeah, those are definitely the people I look up to now. And I'm inspired by my teammates for sure.
What was that transition like from you from after the Olympics coming back home and getting into playing professional softball for USS Pride?
Um, the transition after the Olympics was for the most part, okay for me, pretty easy because I didn't stop. So I didn't have a down period. I went straight back to playing in Japan. And then last year was my first season with USSSA Pride, again, being challenged in a new environment with a new group of people and with a new expectation. Like, I'm there to do a job. And so I was pushed to perform, and I love those challenges. But I think the thing for me after the Olympics that I remember most is now finding my new why. And I don't really like that term, like, what's your why? But for me, it was more like, okay, I had this goal, and in the back of my head through everything I've done was, this is going to help me towards becoming an Olympian and to help Australia win a gold medal at the Olympics. Like, that was always the goal. But now I've done it. So like, now I'm like, okay, well, what is my goal? What is my why now? And like I just explained, like, I want to promote softball and give the next generation the opportunities that I've had and more, and open doors for people in our sport. And so I think it took me time to readjust why I'm playing the sport I play, bigger than just outside of, I want to be the best and I want to win. Like, yes, that's my goal. I always want to win and I always want to be the best. But I had to think, okay, why do I? And now I've got this new goal, and I've got new goals within myself, and just constantly challenging myself. And I think that's where after the Olympics, I've again continued to develop as a player and person, and just finding what works for me and what motivates me to continue.
What would you tell your younger self looking back on your career this far?
I would tell myself to continue to push and train as hard as you want, and take on any challenge that you want to take on. Say yes to every opportunity. If someone asks you to go play for them, go play. You can never do too much to help yourself. Go out there and train hard and continue to push every day towards your goals. And whilst you're doing that, always find the fun in every day and everything you do.
What would you tell your younger self, that kid that went to Sydney and the Olympics for the first time as a fan?
Oh, I think that I would tell her, like, you did it. And I don't know if she would believe me or not. But yeah, I would just tell her, like, the world is a wonderful place through softball, and you're going to see the world playing this sport. So enjoy it and work hard and have fun.
What are some of your future softball plans moving forward in your softball career?
At this stage, I'm taking it one day at a time. I'm staying singularly focused in the moment. And my current goal is to be my best self today. So every day I want to continue to improve and work towards my goals, which are helping my professional team here in Japan, Ogaki Minamo, to be the best we can be, to win as many games as we can win. I want to continue to play with USSSA Pride and promote the sport on a professional stage. And I want to continue to help promote sport within Australia and inspire the next generation, and help the Aussie spirit to continue to grow, and give opportunities to those Aussie kids reaching towards playing for Team Australia, just the way that the Aussie Spirit girls did, that I look up to.
What advice would you give college softball players out there that are looking to represent a national team, whether it's US, Canada, or Australia?
I would just say, focus on what you're doing at the time. Don't think too far ahead. College ball is a fantastic opportunity to improve your skills. The facilities and the opportunities you get through college with strength coaches, nutrition, all of that. Take advantage of it, because that's how you're going to improve and that's how you're going to get better. And if you focus on that, it's going to prepare you to make a national team. So I would just say, take in every day that you're there at college, work hard, use the things that you're given. That's going to prepare you for the national team.
What advice would you give those softball players out there looking to play professionally, whether it's for a program like the Triple S or Pride, or even going overseas to play?
I would say that you need to be proactive and you need to put yourself out there. So you need to say yes, go play at every opportunity you can, get seen, and then do the work yourself. If you're not getting seen or you're not getting opportunities, go ask, go connect with people, send out emails, talk to people, say, hey, how do you do that? How do I get connected? How can I be seen? I'd say don't wait for things to come to you. You need to go get it yourself, and reach out to all the people that you know and ask people for help. And that's how you're going to get the opportunities. If you continue to work hard on your skills and be the best you can be on the field, but then also being proactive and going out there to get opportunities for yourself.
What advice would you give those first-time Olympians such as yourself that was going through that experience?
At the Olympics, or like in lead up, do you mean?
Leading up and at the Olympics.
In lead up to the Olympics, I would say to be your best self every day. So every day, wake up with the mentality of what would a gold medalist do today, and whatever that answer is, go do that. So train, be reliant on yourself, get up early, go train hard, work in the gym, be at every training session, be at every scheduled session for your team, be there, and then do extra on your own. I think the practice on your own is the key to being successful. It's not enough if you only do what your team asks you to do or what your coach asks you to do. You need to want to do it yourself, and everything that you're doing is towards that goal. So gym, training, sleep, nutrition, off days, time with friends, it's all important. And continuing to grow your knowledge, read books about other athletes' stories and what they've done and what works for them. Like, continue to work hard and use every opportunity in every day to get better for the next day. And then at the Olympics, my advice is you've done the work, and so you can believe in all the preparation and everything that you've put towards it. So now you're there, and now you just do what you've trained to do. You don't have to put too much thought into it. There's no reason to get too nervous. Like, yes, you're on the world stage, but if you've done the preparation, you know that you can do it.
That's great advice. Where can my listeners find you at on social media?
My Instagram is at lroberts9. And I'm also on Twitter at Aussie_9 and on Facebook, L Roberts.
Thank you again, Ellen Roberts, for your interview, and best luck in your future with the Australian softball team as an Olympian.
Thank you, Brandon. Thank you for having me.
Thank you. You can find Brandon Sports Talk on Instagram and Brandon Sports Talk Twitter at Talk_Brandon. And you can find me on YouTube at Brandon Sports Talk. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Thank you again, Ellen Roberts, for your interview, and best luck in your future.
Thank you.
You've been watching Brandon Sports Talk. Please feel free to like, share, and subscribe to Brandon Sports Talk on social media and on YouTube.